Coach Miller, and welcome to All Marine Fighter. Today, I want to talk about the announcement of Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo. I have to tell you, I'm not totally sure what to think about this. Because not only did we get a completely different Charlo brother than we thought, but you think this should be great news. But how is it? There's not much excitement. This fight is going to take place at 168, which is Canelo Alvarez's weight class. Now, don't get me wrong. Jermell Charlo is the undefeated, undisputed champion at 154. And I have to tell you, if there was ever a tournament that had all of the best fighters in a particular weight class fight each other, let me tell you what, that's exactly what happened at the 154-pound weight class. We didn't get an official tournament, but we literally got the best fighters that clashed, and you ended up with the finality of an undisputed champion. I mean, how Jermell Charlo came through all of that to become undisputed, what an unbelievable set of matchups. I mean, you had the Super 6 tournaments and the other types of big, tournaments for different weight classes to make undisputed, but nothing was as big as 154. I mean, not since the time of when Andre Ward fought and won the Super 6 tournament, like the very first one, right? So the clash of the Titans at 154, I mean, what a great set of matches to just really define who the champion truly was at 154 pounds. Now, at 168 pounds, did we get that same type of thing? No, we didn't. Canelo Alvarez fought mostly everybody, but there's still one person in that weight division that has a rightful claim to that WBC belt because he's won it twice and lost it twice. And it wasn't because he lost a fight, because he did something stupid like do drugs or he dropped it on the scale. And that man's name is David Benavidez. So that being said, we still have yet to have the fully undisputed champion named, because David Benavidez essentially is the last man standing in that entire division, because there's always going to be young dogs that are up and coming, but Benavidez is literally the last man standing when Canelo started there, and if he finishes Benavidez, he can be fully crowned undisputed. There are going to be people who disagree with what I said there, but compare what I said to what happened with Jermell Charlo and 154 pounds. There was literally nobody else in that division for that time period there that Jermell had to fight to be undisputed. The only one that's up and coming right now that is even a serious threat is Tim Tszyu. And yeah, sure, he should fight Tim Tszyu, absolutely. But nobody's clamoring that Jermell Charlo is not the rightful undisputed champion. He cleaned out everybody in the weight division. Now he's just trying to knock off young dogs coming up. The other thing I don't really like about this matchup, and generally when you get two undisputed champions together, I don't think this has ever been done before. And I would have liked to have seen that happen between Dimitri Bivol and Canelo Alvarez, if Bivol can knock off Beterbiev. Having two undisputed champions come and clash together, I mean, that would be awesome, especially the storyline that's behind it. But the problem is you don't get that same kind of storyline with Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, because Jermell is two weight classes lower. Now, so there's people who will say, oh, well, Canelo's not really weight bullying Jermell, because technically you have Jermall and Jermell. Jermall fought at 160 and is now at 168, and both brothers they're twin brothers, so they're actually taller and bigger than Canelo Alvarez. And there is some truth to that. But Jermell has not fought at 168 pounds. In fact, he hasn't fought at 160 pounds yet. The big problem about that is it takes time for fighters to get acclimated to a weight class. And now he's going to jump up 2 weight classes with a fighter that, sure, Canelo started at 154. I understand that. But he is well acclimated to even getting close to light heavyweight competition now. At 168, he's very well acclimated. So this matchup doesn't exactly make sense. 2 different weight classes difference. and you're going up. Now, I guess it would have been a little bit different if Canelo decided to jump down 2 weight classes. I think that would have been probably a little bit more intriguing, although I would still have questions about it. But Jermell coming up to Canelo's range, it is definitely quite ridiculous. And I got to tell you, if Jermell, it almost feels like Jermell wants to lose. I mean, it's a very challenging thing. I'm not saying that he cannot win. Jermell is a very good fighter, okay? He is. He's a very good fighter. But you're taking a significant challenge, jumping up 2 weight classes to do this and having no weight acclimation to this and taking on the best, or at least one of the best, at 168 pounds. So I don't think this is going to go very well for Jermell. Although I will have to say, hey, Jermell signed the stupid contract, so you know what? If he's that cocky about it and he gets knocked out, well, it's his problem, right? But the thing is, though, is he essentially has nothing to lose, because if he loses, he's not going to lose his undisputed belts at 154 pounds because they're fighting at 168 pounds for Canelo's titles. I got to tell you, I'm still a little intrigued enough to actually pay and watch for the fight, okay? Canelo is probably the only fighter outside Floyd Mayweather Jr. that I have paid and watched most of his fights, okay? And so he's the longest standing fighter that I've actually watched, because he is an entertaining fighter. But I do like Jermell Charlo, but I got to tell you, I might be pulling for Jermell in this one, just because Canelo has played quite the diva, especially with this whole David Benavidez thing and kind of dodging him. Although I'm not exactly fond of Jermell bouncing out of the weight class where he should be fighting Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu is a rightful challenger to his undisputed claim right now, but he dodged out of that fight because he hurt his hand, which is fine. There's no problem with that. But look, your hand is better now. Get back to fighting Tim Tszyu. You know, these sanctioning bodies, not only for Jermell Charlo, but also for Canelo Alvarez. And let's just make it for heavyweight and all the other weight classes that we have these issues with. They need to start holding these mandatories and making these fighters accountable for fighting their stinking mandatories. Because otherwise, we're not going to get the best fights. And really, it's us, the boxing fans, that lose out on the greatest entertainment. Because I made a video about this. You can watch it, where fighters forget they're entertainers first. Take a look at that video. But fighters forget they are entertainers first. We are paying to watch them fight. And you tick off enough fans, they're not going to line your purse anymore. They're not going to want to pay to watch you fight. So ultimately, the truth is, boxing loses with 2 different weight classes of fighters that should be fighting in their given weight class, and finding the best competition that's in their weight class. We lose the matchup with Jermell Charlo versus Tim Tszyu, and we lose the matchup with Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. And all of these shenanigans just put off the best fights, and really, it's we, the boxing fan, that loses. And there are always people who come and make comments when I do videos about Canelo or whatever, and they're like these little fanboys of Canelo that say Canelo owes nobody nothing and all sorts of stuff. No, actually, he does. He owes us, the fans, the best fights. Just like any other fighter, because he's an entertainer. Not a diva. He's not even a boxer. He's an entertainer first. And we are the customer. Fighters overall, not just Canelo Alvarez, but fighters overall need to understand that and get back to giving us the best fights. And these games that Canelo Alvarez is pulling towards, some would say, the end of his career, are going to tarnish his legacy. It's going to tarnish his legacy. Nobody wants to see him cherry pick different divisions. You see what I'm saying? Like, I like Canelo Alvarez. So there's people that comment on the videos like, you're a Canelo hater. Like, look, I like Canelo Alvarez. I really do. I think he's a great fighter. But man, he is tarnishing his legacy that he's worked hard over the years to build. He has fought some of the best fighters, but now it's tapering downwards, and he's doing this cherry picking type of thing, kind of like what Floyd Mayweather got criticized for, and all the Canelo fans will criticize Floyd Mayweather for doing that towards the end of his career. But keep in mind that Floyd Mayweather was like 40 when he fought some of these other guys that, called cherry picked. Canelo's not even that old yet, and he's already starting to do it and not giving the fans what they want. In conclusion, am I going to pay to watch the fight? You know what? I'm going to. I, I, I did watch John Ryder versus Canelo, and that's because a friend of mine is a super Canelo fan. He wanted to pay to watch. I wasn't going to actually pay for that one because we already knew what was going to happen with John Ryder. So I'm not paying all that money to see Ryder get beat. But a friend of mine really wanted to see him, so we ended up, he paid for it. We all watched it together, had a barbecue, that type of thing. But will I pay to watch Jermell fight Canelo? Yeah, I will. I think there is a little bit of intrigue, and I'm curious to see how Jermell is going to do. I really hope it's a good and competitive fight. And Jermell, I watched him in the Ontario Arena when he got his WBC belt back from Tony Harrison. Actually, Tony Harrison came to the boxing gym I'm associated with, and I had a chance to meet him and stuff like that, which is really, really cool. And Tony Harrison, he's a good dude. I mean, real goofy guy, and him and Charlo had a pretty good beef together. But I saw Charlo get his belt back from Tony Harrison, then go on his run to do Undisputed after that. So I like the Charlo brothers. So I have nothing against them. And like I said, I'm somewhat pulling for Jermell on this one. But that being said, hey, I really hope that after this, Canelo fights who he's supposed to fight, David Benavidez. And I hope, if Charlo gets blasted out, or even if he wins, go back and fight Tim Tszyu. Let's just hope that the boxing fans are not going to continue to lose out on the best fights that boxing has to offer first generation. If you like these videos, go ahead and hit that like button. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, stay motivated.